On July 25th, 1968, I was situated in the beautiful town of Karonga in Malawi in Central Africa. I was there with two other deacons from the North American College exercising our diaconate in this very beautiful country of Malawi. It is probably one of the most remote places that you could possibly be. As a matter of fact, the news that we would receive at that particular time was from the BBC, and they would have 10-year-old broadcasts that reported to us fresh disasters, and that we could therefore participate in. But there was one issue that perhaps, being in an ecclesial setting at that time, was the anticipation of the Pope's teaching on the basis of a commission that he had set up on artificial contraceptions. So there was a great reaction when the Pope, on the basis of his own study of the Commission's findings, decided that there would be no change. As a matter of fact, he taught the truth that the way to accomplish God's will was to use the natural means of procreation. In other words, as you look at marriage, it has a twofold outcome or good. The very first is the unitive love of the husband and wife, the two spouses, deeply unifying themselves with each other as an expression of love. But secondly, which has always been the case, there was always the idea that we would be able to use this act of love as a continuation of life. And so therefore, each expression of that love was to contain both of those goals. One is unitive, the second was openness to life. Always that there would be an openness to life through this particular gift and this particular act. The reaction to the Holy Father's teaching was very mixed. I would have to say that there was a lot of negative reaction, somehow saying that the church no longer is up to date in terms of the actual experience of human life today. And therefore they had a lot of negative reaction to the Holy Father, which he somehow was able to absorb, but I'm sure it was very difficult for him. So then, standing back in that perspective, some 50 years later, that we have a perspective that is entirely different. That we see on the one hand that the coming of the ability to continue to use the natural forms of procreation in a certain sense showed the unity of God's plan of love. That through all of this, that the design that he had put into human nature was really very effective. It showed God's love. It showed the happiness that can truly come and the peace can come from couples who follow this way. But secondly, it also was an outcome that nobody fully anticipated, and that was the degradation of marriage. That sex, women, and family became separated and out, and that we lost a real appreciation for the total beauty of sex, that in a certain sense that women became objects of man's lust, of man's seeking pleasure alone, and the family apparatus now has disappeared also because there is nothing in a sense to hold it together, to give it direction, to give it purpose and meaning. And so we see, on the one hand, this news was big news. Its anniversary enables us to analyze it from a far deeper perspective than was the occasion was first issued. And I think throughout the world, I would say even in Karonga, Malawi, that there is a lot more appreciation for the teaching of the Pope, that it is prophetic, that it will lead us down the path to true human understanding and the fullness of our expression of love.